What's up guys, Turbo Veltriac here, back with another video, and in today's video, I'm reviewing Beyblade Burst Surge Episode 7, titled Conquering the Ogre's Dungeon. So since this video will have spoilers on the episode, there will be a link in the description below to where you can watch the episode if you have not already. So anyways, this episode covers episodes 13 and 14 of Beyblade Burst Sparking, and yeah, let's begin with the analysis. So the story continues from the previous episode where Hikaru and Hyuga had just been defeated by Louie, and Louie starts going on about how he doesn't need sleep, and he'd rather be training, and then he runs off into the dungeon, and Hikaru gets into a Helios moment, and Helios tells Hikaru to give it his all until the very end, and the brothers go after Louie, and Rentaro and the Comets come along, and the first obstacle they come across is a moving floor, but after the opening sequence, they get past it. So then the Comets find a minecart and they jump in it, and midway through the ride, the minecart is split in two, causing Hyuga and Rentaro to be separated from the club. And when the two stop, they find themselves in a room with two Ogre statues, and they must take on 500 bays to get to Louie. And then we find Hikaru and the rest of the Comets who find a launching machine, and they must launch with enough strength to get to Louie, and the brothers complete their challenges and find Louie at the same time. So Louie takes on Hikaru first, and Hikaru puts Helios in its defense mode, and Luinor starts going at Helios, and then Helios starts going at Luinor, and knocks it into the crater with its colossal strike, but Louie and Luinor come back and burst Helios with Raid Upper. And that concludes the first half of the episode, which was the 13th episode of Sparking. And now we are getting into the second half of the episode, which was the 14th episode of Sparking. And the name for this part has not been released at the time of recording this video, but since it was called Fierce Storm Rage Longinus in Japan, my guess is that it'll be changed to something like Fierce Storm Raid Luinor. So the second half of the episode picks up from where the first half left off, and before Hyuga gets his chance to take on Louie, a storm comes, and so the Comets are forced to take shelter in a cabin, and as everyone is asleep, Hyuga ends up running off, and after the storm passes and everyone wakes up, the Comets meet Lane Valhalla who is looking for Louie, and then we find Hyuga who is climbing up the mountain, and once he gets to the top, he falls but he's caught by Louie. So after that, Hyuga finally has his battle with Louie, and before they start, Hyuga starts bonding with Hyperion, and Lane and the Comets arrive, and once we get into the battle, Hyperion and Luinor go at each other with their upper attacks, and both Hyuga and Louie get heated up, and as Hyperion and Luinor clash, Lane interrupts the battle and launches his bay into the stadium, and Lane challenges Louie, but then she returns to stop Lane, and that concludes the episode. So anyways, Conquering the Ogre's Dungeon was a good episode, and I did enjoy it, and I thought the battles in this episode were pretty good, but I wish we got a conclusion to Hyuga and Louie's battle. And I also liked how Hikaru and Hyuga took on Louie's training, just like they did with Freeze. And I was also glad that we finally got to see Lane's debut in this episode, and I really did not expect Lane's English voice to be as deep as it is, and from what I've heard, I think Damon Mills is doing a really good job at voicing Lane. And I was also glad to see the return of Shu in this episode, since we haven't seen him since Turbo, and I thought this episode was a good way to introduce him into the season by making him debut along with his student. So in the next review, I'll be going over episode 8, the Jet Black Sun Vex Lucius, where Lane faces off with Louie. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and also feel free to follow me on social media. The links will be in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys later.